Hi, my name is Erin Giblin, and today I'll be talking about A World Turned Over. This book was written by Lorien Hemingway. She was born December 15, 1951. She lived in South Jackson, Mississippi, just before the Candlestick Park tornado hit. Her grandfather is Ernest Hemingway. She writes in long, descriptive sentences, reminiscing about her childhood experiences in South Jackson. She moved away just before the tornado hit in the winter of 1966. The story. This book is titled How It Was. In the first part, she describes her memories of her childhood in South Jackson. She describes old churches, farmers tied to the land, going to school and swimming in Caney Creek. Then she describes the tornado from the perspective of the survivors that she spoke with. In the second part is titled Going Back. In this part of the book, she speaks of her trip back to Jackson, Mississippi in the winter of 2000. She visits the rebuilt Candlestick Park, as well as several survivors of the tornadoes. This book has several important characters. Among these characters are Linda Flowers. She is a survivor of the Candlestick Park tornado. She is also interviewed at the end of the book. During the tornado, she was going to get orange juice from the supermarket in Candlestick. She tells of her story of survival from beneath the counter in the supermarket. Another important character is Homer Lee Howie. He is the owner and designer of Candlestick Park. Jackson, Mississippi. The tornado took place in Jackson, Mississippi in 1966. Jackson, Mississippi was a place of racial tension in 1960, with voting rights violations and violence lax citizens. This was also not the first F5 tornado to be recorded in Jackson. In 1916, a tornado which came to be known as the Deaf and Dumb Tornado, because it landed on a dormitory of deaf and dumb individuals, took place in Jackson, Mississippi. 14 people died during this tornado. 13 of them were black and not identified by name in the paper. Candlestick Park was a shopping center in Jackson, Mississippi. It was known as the axis of the neighborhood. When it was built by Howie, he imagined it to be a place for successful businesses and for everyone in the neighborhood to come. There was a Liberty supermarket, a New Coin laundromat, a beauty shop, a drugstore, a barber shop, a small hobby shop, a five and dime store, a gas station, and a hot dog and root beer joint. Hemingway remembers that Candlestick Park, in all its glory, with Howie's inspired sign of wax candles with red flames, and beyond the sign spread pristine upon the dimple-free concrete, a thing of newness and hope and unadulterated fun. Candlestick Park was also the location of the F5 tornado, and also the location of the F5 tornado. F5 tornadoes cause catastrophic damage. They are incredibly strong and are able to destroy strong frame houses, which will be leveled off their foundations and swept away. Automobile-sized missiles fly through the air in an excess of 100 meters. Trees will be debarked, and incredible phenomena will occur. The wind estimate for these type of tornadoes is between 261 and 318 miles per hour. The Candlestick Park tornado took place on March 3rd in 1966. The author's perspective of the tornado is given in her book. She states that the tornado hit at 4:33 p.m. Hemingway uses the memories of survivors to tell her story. Most people remember what they were wearing and how their clothes were destroyed and bloodstained. They also remember the thickness and the sheer terror of the storm. Candlestick Park was destroyed. Here are some facts from the tornado. The Candlestick Park tornado was one of the most devastating tornadoes in Mississippi history. Its path destroyed areas across central and east Mississippi. 57 people were killed and over 500 were injured. It was the longest track tornado in central Mississippi 20th century, with 202.5 miles. The author recounts the story of Hinds County General Hospital, where the injured were brought in by the score. Only one doctor was on duty when the radio call went out across the city for all medical personnel, and there were only 4 emergency beds. More than 150 people would be treated just at that hospital that night. Blankets and mattresses brought in from the National Guard Armory, and emergency treatment extended into the hallways. Before the night was over, the hospital would be filled beyond capacity. So how does this event shape emergency management? One of the first things is that the hospitals were definitely understaffed. Also, the tornado brought about widespread socioeconomic damage. The shopping center at Candlestick Park needed to be rebuilt, and homes also needed to be rebuilt. Another factor is that people weren't as prepared with storm shelters as they are today. But what if the Candlestick Park tornado had happened today? It is estimated that the damage would have been greater. The damage would have been greater because the tornado moved through what was in 1966 a rural area of Rankin County. But today there are homes and businesses in many of these areas. The area around Candlestick Park is also more heavily populated today. The time period would have also been a problem. Between 4:30 and 5 when the tornado hit, it was moving through the metropolitan area of Jackson during the afternoon rush hour. However, in 1966, the interstate system was being constructed, but today the tornado would have hit Interstate 20 and 55 during this time. While it would have caused more damage today, hopefully more advanced meteorological technology and improved communications would have helped to get a quicker warning out to the people. And here's my works cited page.